US President Joe Biden's Poland visit concluded with a massive statement against Russian aggression. After meeting the refugees who fled Ukraine amid the Russian assault, the US President called Putin a butcher. In a first since the start of the war, Biden held a meeting with Ukrainian ministers in Warsaw. Sending across a message of solidarity, Biden praised Ukrainian President Zelensky and said that the entire world is standing by Ukraine. Earlier, the US President had visited Warsaw, a town close to the Ukraine border, where the US troops are stationed. The West has piled sanctions on the Russian economy and it's already crumbling under the weight of it.
What were the commitments
with Ukraine? I mean, you see this and you're dealing every day with Vladimir Putin. I mean, look at what he's done to these people. What does it make you think?
He's a butcher.
Russia was bent on violence from the start. I know not all of you believed me and us when we kept saying they are going to cross the border, they are going to attack. Repeatedly, he asserted we had no interest in war, guaranteed he would not move. Repeatedly saying he would not invade Ukraine. Repeatedly saying Russian troops along the border were there for training, all 180,000 of them. There's simply no justification or provocation for Russia's choice of war. It's an example of one of the oldest human impulses, using brute force and disinformation to satisfy a craving for absolute power and control. The private sector is acting as well. Over 400 private multinational companies have pulled out of doing business in Russia, left Russia completely, from oil companies to McDonald's. As a result of these unprecedented sanctions, the ruble almost is immediately reduced to rubble. The Russian economy, that's true, by the way, takes about 200 rubles to equal $1. The economy is on track to be cut in half in the coming years. It was ranked, Russian economy was ranked the 11th biggest economy in the world before this invasion. It will soon not even rank among the top 20 in the world. American forces are in Europe, not in Europe, to engage in conflict with Russian forces. American forces are here to defend NATO allies. Yesterday I met with the troops that are serving alongside our Polish allies to bolster NATO's frontline defenses. The reason we wanted to make clear is their movement on Ukraine don't even think about moving on one single inch of NATO territory. We have sacred obligation. We have a sacred obligation under Article 5 to defend each and every inch of NATO territory.
The western Ukrainian city of Lviv, which has acted as safe space for Ukrainians fleeing the war, has become the latest target of Russian airstrikes. According to reports, 3 loud explosions were heard near Lviv on Saturday, triggering air raid sirens in the city. 5 people were injured in the blast in the outskirts of Lviv. Heavy black smoke was seen rising from the northeast side of the city. The attack on the western city came at a time when US President Joe Biden was in Poland, a distance of mere 400 kilometers between Biden and the missile strikes. The war in Ukraine has entered day 32 and Russia's war machine is not slowing down. Fresh explosions were reported near Ukraine's western city of Lviv as President Joe Biden wrapped up his visit to neighboring Poland. Meanwhile, Ukraine's capital has announced a new 35-hour curfew. Kyiv mayor said that the curfew will run from 8 p.m. local time on Saturday to 7 a.m. on Monday, with local residents allowed to leave their homes only to go to a bomb shelter. In Mariupol, residents are hunkering in basements as they try to stay alive amid the destruction around them. The southern port city has suffered relentless shelling since Russia began its operation in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed gratitude towards his soldiers on National Guard Day. Zelensky awarded troops and had photos taken with them.
This is the name of the cycle factory. It was a bicycle factory. Ardes, a big cycle factory here, which was destroyed by this missile strike. Look, the smoke in the air everywhere, and the whole factory was destroyed. This is the name, Artis. Look here, from this end to that end, which is about 200 meters away, everything destroyed. This factory was hit in the morning by a missile, a Russian missile, and still the fire is burning. And it looks like that the attacks, which we suppose have probably stopped, are still going on, but they have not happened in the Kyiv city proper. This place is about 15 to 20 kilometers away from the city, very close to Irpin, where the fighting is going on, and we can hear anti-tank weapons firing probably on Russian tanks, and this firing is probably done by the Ukrainian forces. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today on the 31st day of the war. I'm right now here in the old quarters of Kyiv city. This is wartime, 31st day of the war, and people are having a small concert here, and they are trying to find some little joys. They showed up, focus for some time. It's okay. So this is a small concert which is going on. A friend of mine informed that this is how people in these war times are trying to cope up and trying to find some kind of solace and happiness in these difficult times. Can you show the cathedral also? So, keep it there for some time. This is a very ancient cathedral, one of the landmarks of Kyiv city, and this is the old quarter of the city. You can see this. Cobblestones, the streets. This is the old quarters of Kyiv city. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today on the 31st day of the war from Kyiv city.
Against the backdrop of sanctions and the withdrawal of foreign companies from Russia, Russians are facing a shortage of several drugs, which has resulted in massive panic buying of the medicines by citizens. Here's a report.
Second month of the war. Amidst devastation in Ukraine, sanctions hit Russia too continues to take a blow. Rising inflation and panic buying by Russians are the order of the day. Sanctions imposed by the West continue to impact every ordinary Russian. With several US-based drug makers deciding to put an end to their operations in Russia, citizens are panic buying essential medicines. Queues of patients can be seen lining up in Moscow's pharmacies, fearing a shortage. India Today visited pharmacies in Moscow's center only to find that some essential medications mentioned in Russia's Vendomosti publication remain out of stock.
My case was searching for a medicine called Eutirox, or its substitute L-thyroxine. It's intended to help with steroidal diseases, one that my grandma has. I checked multiple of pharmacies, but all of them were empty.
Russian pharmacies are finding it difficult to pay for deliveries. The medical crisis is a major immediate fallout of the sanctions which have cut off Russian banks from the international financial system SWIFT, used by many of those banks.
We're also announcing new sanctions of more than 400 individuals and entities in alignment with the European Union. More than 300 members of the Duma, oligarchs, and Russian defense companies that fuel the Russian war machine.
While Russian authorities claim that there are no problems with the production and supply of food and medicine, the on-ground reality speaks for itself.
People have to stand in queues and people have to make reservations, and they only can receive one this tablet and one of this medication for one person. So this is why we have seen the frightening Russians who were trying desperately to find this medication. Elna Banazarov, especially for India Today, reporting from Moscow.